Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people, and welcome back to my $1 billion garage tour in GTA Online. Today, we join my second character in his 50-car garage on Eclipse Boulevard to take a look at 14 trucks, vans, SUVs, and military vehicles from Bravado, all worth just over $13 million. We even have an emergency vehicle in the lineup today. Let's get started. The Bravado Bison is a van. So is this, and this, and so is this, and this, but not this. This is a muscle car. The Bravado Bison is a van. I know it looks like a truck, but it is not. Ignore the traditional crew cab and truck bed appearance. Those are just distractions. The Bravado Bison is a van. Sure, it can appear in two other variants that look just like work trucks, but they are not trucks. Because the Bravado Bison is a van. You should also ignore the fact that it doesn't have an enclosed back end like a van, nor does it have sliding side doors or rear panel doors. You know, things you usually find on a van. Even without those, the Bravado Bison is a van. Why is it a van? I guess because people can sit in the bed? Apparently everyone knows it's physically impossible to sit in the back of a truck. You can only do that in a van or an industrial vehicle, but never in a truck. In fact, according to GTA's classification system, trucks simply do not exist. Everything that we think is a truck is either a utility vehicle, an off-roader, an SUV, or a fucking van. The Bravado Bison is a van. Someone please make it make sense. The Bravado Dorado has a bit of a special place in my heart. At the very end of the 1990s, my parents bought a silver Dodge Durango, the vehicle the Dorado is mostly modeled after. For nearly 2 decades, anytime they took a trip, they were driving that Durango. They piled on countless miles and kept driving it until it simply became too expensive to repair the things that broke in a never-increasing pace. I painted my Dorado silver in memory of seeing that Durango anytime my parents visited. Granted, theirs didn't have the light bar, aggressive bumper guard, or the black stripes. Aside from some cheap aftermarket running boards, their Durango was incredibly stock. But for the Dorado, you can go nuts. The customization options give you everything you need to create a design, from an everyday mall crawler, a rugged off-roader, or even a performance SRT-inspired appearance. If you take it off-roading, you will find it is more than capable to handle most rugged terrain without a lot of drama. On-road, however, the Dorado isn't the quickest SUV around, so don't expect it to win any races. The LSPD thinks they have a great community outreach program, parking a D10 and a faction lowrider across the street. Those aren't real police vehicles, though. Lowrider? Seriously? And for the D10, good luck hauling a criminal back to the station. At the Los Santos County Sheriff's Office, we do community outreach right. The Bravado Dorado Cruiser, Vapid Stinger, and even the Brute RCV let you see what real police vehicles look like. These aren't Trailer Queen show cars like the LSPD uses. These are the actual vehicles we use day in, day out. Come on by every third Saturday of the month to check out these cars in person. Be sure to bring your kids. They will eventually turn into teenage delinquents, so they may as well become familiar with the Dorado that will break up their illegal, beer-soaked bonfires in the woods, or the RCV that will hose them down when they riot because their favorite team lost a game, or won a game. And of course, they can also see the Stinger, the car they'll ride in the backseat of when we haul their disrespectful asses to jail. This is the Bravado Duneloader, which most people know as the truck that sits inside their bunker with a crate in the back. If you walk up to that Duneloader, you can begin a quick sell mission to deliver excess weapons and make an easy 50 grand. If no one else is in the lobby, a few NPCs will give chase, shooting at you and the truck. Despite this thing having the third worst top speed in the off-road class, it is still fairly easy to outdrive those NPCs. Since I was in a lobby with friends for this cell mission, various members of the Vainglorious community took it upon themselves to stand in for those adversarial NPCs. Editor Brandon here Quickly just to add, I guess that's what friends are for, to take shots at you while you're just trying to earn a bit of cash. Thanks guys. While you cannot buy a Duneloader from any in-game website, you can steal one when they're spawning in traffic and store it in your garage. But even with performance upgrades, it is still incredibly slow. The one I have been driving is from my bunker, but this is the one I stole from an NPC to add to my collection. There really aren't many differences though, because aside from changing the wheels and paint color, there are no visual modifications for this truck. And despite its appearance, it does not do very well off-road, as it simply does not have enough engine power to climb steeper terrain, nor does it have strong enough brakes to keep it under control during a descent. So, why do I own one? Well, because it exists, and my Bravado collection would not be complete without it. Some people say that the Bravado Gresley SUV is modeled after the current generation of Dodge Durango. And while most SUVs tend to be similar in appearance, especially when viewed from the side, I just don't see a lot of Durango inspiration here. I suppose the quarter panel windows have a somewhat similar shape, but beyond that, I can't find anything else that makes me think that this is a Durango. So, what is its real-life counterpart? To be honest, I don't know that it has one. I can see elements of a Kia Sorento and even a Toyota Land Cruiser, maybe even the taillights from that one really ugly BMW SUV coupe thing. But it doesn't really matter, not every car in the game has to be based off of something in real life. It's just an average, bland SUV meant to fade into the background of NPC traffic, a job it does remarkably well. The Gresley does have a short list of visual modifications, but none of them are really going to do much to drastically alter its appearance. Its performance isn't great either, with a top speed barely getting over 100 miles per hour.
Everhard Munitions, in conjunction with Fort Zancudo and Fleece Bank, have partnered with Phil Cassidy's fully cocked Vice City to bring a unique auction event to Los Santos. Today's mercenaries and entrepreneurs only want to buy the F-160 Raiju, the Contrali, and Mobilized Kanata, leaving older hardware to gather dust. But there is still a lot of lethality remaining in these vintage weaponized vehicles. The Half-track has served our nation, and our nation's top criminal enterprises, quite well for nearly a century, despite being based on a truck from the 1940s. We have models available with armor-plated windows, proximity mines, stock 50 caliber machine gun turrets, and even the upgraded auto cannon, which is a quad 20mm turret that can blast out 600 rounds per minute. It comes equipped with a trailer hitch so you can tow your anti-aircraft trailer for additional firepower. Visit us at Fort Zancudo on the third Sunday of every month for this special no reserve option on some truly exceptional weaponized vehicles. We throw in a free crate of Phil Cassidy's own Moonshine bombs with every sale, and we have face painting for the kiddos. Won't they look adorable with little rainbow unicorns on their cheeks while they climb on top of live ordnance?
As if the Half-track wasn't enough of an oddball in today's showcase, we also have the Bravado Sasquatch. This arena war vehicle is a bit unique, as it is, to the best of my knowledge, the only one you can get from upgrading two different vehicles. We saw both of those in the first part of the Bravado Garage Tour with the Rat Truck and the Rat Loader. Whichever one you use as a donor car, you can choose from one of three variants for your Sasquatch. I went with the Apocalypse version, but whichever one you go with, you can probably skip the kinetic grenade launcher. While the grenades can push away players and vehicles, they do not deal very much damage. The ram weapons vary a bit in effectiveness. Most of them will push a car out of the way, often sending them flying. The Shocker will also stun players similar to the stun gun, while the Love Fist is incredibly effective as a battering ram. But the real power in the Sasquatch comes from the wheels, which will severely damage or even destroy any smaller vehicles. And like the other two monster trucks in GTA, the Sasquatch comes complete with four-wheel steering, making it pretty easy to maneuver in tight spaces. Before we move on to the next 7 vehicles, which are all vans, I want to remind you that this is just one video in my growing $1 Billion Garage Tour series. If you want to learn a bit more about the series, then be sure to check out the first video in the playlist. I own nearly 600 vehicles in GTA with a combined cost of $1 billion. I am going to feature every last one of them, so if you are a fan of collecting vehicles in GTA Online, then be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss out. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and drop a comment letting me know which car you love or which one you hate. Or maybe just leave an emoji that sums up how you feel about Bravado as a car manufacturer. Also, if you would like to have your own cars featured in the background, join the Vainglorious Discord to find out how you can take part. Now, let's get back to the cars. The Bravado Paradise is a van, as are the next 5 vehicles in today's garage tour. Unlike the so-called van we begin with today, these are all very clearly actual vans. This is also one of the few, if not the only vehicle from Bravado that I own on my first character where, for some reason, it is stored with a bunch of vapid vans in my garage on exceptional sway. This one joined GTA Online way back in the Beach Bum update and is essentially a Rumpo that has been converted into a beach camper van. Despite being pictured on in-game websites with a white roof, models you purchase today will be delivered with a black roof. And you can't change that underlying paint color, as the Paradise is one of few vehicles that has no paint options at all. You can pick from one of 4 liveries and that's it. It also lacks side doors and rear seats, though 2 passengers can still climb in the back via the rear doors. It's an odd one, the Paradise, but its 4 incredibly unique liveries and cheap $25,000 purchase price make it one you should add to your collection.
We turn now to breaking news out of Rockford Hills, where a police pursuit has ended in the crash. Suspects apparently believed they were prohibitionary gangsters and were wanted in connection to several bank robberies. Police spotted them on Vinewood Boulevard, with one officer stating that it was easy to track them down, as not many bank robbers make their getaway in an Albany Roosevelt. Let's go live to the crash site.
The Bravado Rumpo is probably best known as the Weasel News Van. While I do have another stock Rumpo in my collection, it is the Weasel News Van most people want to see. The Rumpo has a bit in common with the Paradise that we looked at a moment ago. You cannot select a paint color. You can choose to have the Weasel News livery or a blank panel van, but you are stuck with the paint color. Since it spawns in traffic fairly often, you can take your time and find one in the color you want before you steal it. You could also buy one for $13,000, but even the ones you buy will be locked into whatever color they have when they are delivered. The Rumpo Custom shares a name and somewhat similar styling of the Rumpo, but it is decidedly an entirely different van. It gains quite a bit of ground clearance, adds all-wheel drive, and despite having a lower top speed overall, can accelerate much quicker than the regular Rumpo. It also has a unique body with sliding doors that allow rear passengers to fire two-handed weapons. It also comes equipped with a lot of body modifications that add to its rugged off-roader looks. Of course, you can't change any of that, with paint colors and wheels being the only real visual modifications available. And despite its rugged appearance, it actually falls mid-pack when compared against other vans in my own Will It Off-Road testing. A big part of that comes down to its incredibly bouncy suspension and copious body roll. Together, those can make the Rumpo Custom a bit difficult to control when off-roading. They do, however, mean this van has the ability to do what is known as a wiggle boost. Just turn quickly from side to side while driving, making the rear end wiggle a bit, and you will be able to exceed its usual top speed. And is there anything better than watching a race full of vans wiggling their way down the road? I absolutely love the Bravado Youga. Not because it's fast. It isn't. Not because of its stock appearance. It's a pretty bland van. And not because of its handling. It drives like the big rolling brick that it is. No, none of those are the reasons I love this thing. I love it because it has a handful of customizations that lets you create what appears to be a tuner van. Slam the suspension, add on the oil cooler and tow hook, bolt on a carbon hood, and put in a full roll cage with racing seats, and this van suddenly looks way cooler than it has any right to. Oddly, despite having very obvious sliding doors on the side, this is only a 2-passenger vehicle, as those side doors do not open and there are no rear seats. For performance, or the lack thereof, it's pretty much on par with the leisurely pace of the Rumpo. The Youga Classic has the distinction of being one of the slowest vans that you can upgrade. But when a van has as much style as this one, do you really need to worry about how fast it is? I don't think so. When you factor in a purchase price of just under $200,000, the Youga Classic starts to make sense as an addition to any GTA Online car collection. While it does not have a ton of cosmetic options to change, the real magic comes from the various liveries. There are several great retro designs, some that give the van a well-aged patina, a hot dog livery, and even one that lets you pretty much recreate the frickin' Scooby-Doo van. And it gets even better because, unlike the more modern Youga, this one has functional side doors and can carry 2 passengers in the back. And if memory serves me right, those rear passengers are able to use 2-handed weapons while riding along. So the Youga Classic offers more style, more passenger space, and more drive-by firepower. What's not to love? The Youga Classic 4x4 is a scam. You take your fairly reasonably priced Youga Classic to Benny's, spend nearly $1.3 million to upgrade it, and you wind up with nothing but a big, fat lie. Despite its name, its raised ride height, and several visual modifications that can give it an even more rugged appearance, this thing is absolutely terrible for off-roading. And you want to know why? Even though it has 4x4 in its name, this van is not 4-wheel drive. It's rear-wheel drive. Complete, total scam, I tell ya. It does have some redeeming factors that lets it stay in my car collection, however, and that mainly boils down to a huge number of customization options. Not all of them have a rugged 4x4 vibe to them, and quite a few of them let you add a high level of customization to the interior of the van instead of just the exterior modifications found on most cars. Plus, it has quite a few really solid liveries. Still, even though it does have all of this on offer, there's no getting around the fact that this van is a big scam. And that wraps it up for Bravado in my $1 billion garage tour for GTA Online. Next week, we will be right back here at the 50 Car Garage on Eclipse Boulevard to showcase 11 SUVs and off-roaders from Canis. Don't forget, if you enjoyed today's tour of Bravado vans, SUVs, and off-roaders, be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment letting me know which car was your favorite, or which one you absolutely hate. And if you want to see all of the nearly 600 vehicles I own, get subscribed with notifications so you don't miss a single video. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.